CBS News.
Join Adriana Diaz and Kelly O'Grady for the perfect start to your weekend. Ease into your Saturday with CBS Saturday Morning on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional.
There is an underground civilization underneath of the North American continent.
It's Coast to Coast AM overnight, every night on WGNS, Murfreesboro.
Join me, Speedy, Adler, and Greg for the Rick Burgess Show on WGNS.
The Rick Burgess Show, weekdays 11 to 2 on News Radio WGNS.
When it comes to your child's health, you want care that's close, convenient,
and centered around the needs of your family.
At MMC Pediatrics, we're more than just doctors.
We're partners in your parenting journey.
Here for every growth spurt,
for every boo-boo,
every fever, and every flu.
Our team approach means that your child always sees someone that knows them.
We are MMC Pediatrics.
We are right beside you
every step of the way.
We're the Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, audio and video streaming at wgnsradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your Tuesday morning edition of the Roundtable Show with Rick and Wayne. And good morning, Wayne. How are you, buddy?
Good morning, Brother Rick. I'm good. I got a few winks last night, but
a little sleepy, huh?
My eye was tuned to the warnings and stuff. I got grandchildren in the house last night, so I feel like I've got to be on my game in case we need to gather down in the hallway. So I think was it Goodlettsville that got Brian? You may have
Millersville.
Millersville.
They are
up toward Millersville and just east of or west of Goodlettsville, I think, right up in that area.
Lawrenceburg had a lot too.
Yeah, they were showing a debris field or something like that on the radar, which
they haven't determined as to, and there has been some damage there. They haven't determined whether it was a tornado or not. That probably won't happen for a few days.
Yeah.
Tell you what, the wind. I think we've already at Hillary and Brad's. They've already lost 2 goals. It didn't matter how many sandbags you put on these portable goals. They're coming over with the wind that we've been having the last few weeks.
Yeah. So tonight's kind of the same thing, right, Brian?
Yeah. Looks like coming in from the west a little earlier, thank goodness. I was just pulling up the Futurecast. That's 8 o'clock. That's just a big mess of wind and hail and that kind of thing. Does look like it's maybe a little angrier here on this, but you just never know
on the
future stuff.
Well, earlier we had a ball game last night at 6, so over in Mount Juliet, and it looked like a real squall line was coming through later, but then it kind of broke up, and it was it was disjointed with how bad it was.
Yeah, I got a best friend that lives in Illinois. He's outside Mount Vernon, and it'll hit them whatever we got when those lines are coming through, and it was very defined in the line. And he had sent me a text message last night and said, man, it just really walloped us. And I'm like, all right, so we'll see but our line kind of fell apart, but still it just it had punches in it.
Well, I just like to give kudos to Brian here.
Amen. Again last night.
I don't think you have a meteorology degree or anything, but
no,
you do a darn good job, brother.
I can drive the bus. I have others who kind of
he stayed at a Holiday Inn as well.
That's great. So, Brother Rick, this morning, a friend of yours and mine, a long time community not only leader but community servant, Commissioner Anthony Johnson. Just so many positives to say about you, Commissioner, and we're just thrilled to have you this morning. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Appreciate the invitation.
I want to call you Mr. Smyrna. We got Mr. Murfreesboro and Mr. this and Mr. that, but heck, you've been in Smyrna since the dawn of time, and you served the Smyrna community for a long, long time as well.
Yeah, I've only been there 74 years.
What year did you graduate?
I graduated in 69. Smyrna High School.
69. Yeah. 72.
Are we going there?
Huh?
Are we going there this morning?
I keep tolls, man, when we get our guests come in. We have so many people that come in, and it's remarkable the number of people that are still involved in our community and around Smyrna that are like Smyrna High graduates. When now we get them in from Stewart's Creek, Laverne, and Siegel, half of Siegel now is zoning over this next year. A lot of Smyrna kids are now going to be bused all the way up to Siegel. So Siegel's high school is becoming a part of Smyrna.
Well, the cool thing is so many like you and Commissioner Johnson, y'all, you're Smyrna graduates. You're not only you're not only community leaders, you're county community leaders, and I take great pride in both of you being my friend too.
Thank you.
Well, we can't get tickets fixed anymore, but we'll try to help you if we can.
You don't get them fixed.
Yeah. Hey, remind the audience, this county and our community has grown so fast over the years. There may be some that may not have met you yet, and they probably have seen you on TV with the commission meetings and stuff like that, and maybe. Like I said, 74 years, kind of remind the audience. Of course, I graduated with your little brother from Smyrna High School, so.
Right. Yeah, I graduated in 69 from Smyrna High School. Like a year and a half later, got drafted into the Army.
Bless your heart.
Served 2 years there, and I came out and served a year in the National Guard. But so I am a veteran. Married to my wife for 48 years. It's Debbie. She's a tremendous rock of our family. I have 3 children, David, Patty, and Becky. And I have 2 granddaughters, and we have 5 great-grandchildren. So lived in Smyrna all my life except for the part when I served in the Army. But don't want to be anywhere else. And I grew up, was taught to help just anybody I can, and it doesn't make any difference if I even maybe dislike you. I'm still, if you need help, I'll help you. So that's just me.
Well, what we have in common that Rick does not have in common is that J.J. McWilliams was our principal.
Yes.
And as good as Mr. Rakes was, Mr. Mack was a different sort.
He was a strong leader and a good mentor.
Yes, sir.
I can just see him now sitting at the end of the hall there by the study hall and acting like he was reading the paper, I believe, because it can't be that much to read in that paper, but he always had that paper. But
he had a morning edition and afternoon edition back then, right, though?
Well,
didn't the paper come out twice a day?
Yeah, Tennessee in the morning, the banner, the national banner, in the afternoon. So, but of course, we had the Rutherford Courier at that time as well.
Yes, yeah. Sell subscriptions to get a bicycle.
Gosh, I had forgotten about that. Wow.
Yep.
You are old school, Commissioner.
Yeah, it was who was that? Mr. Mason Tucker.
Yep.
Yeah, he was there. Good man.
Yep. Of course, you've served on the committee. You served on the commission for
21.
For a number of years, and so I think you're chairman of a committee this
right.
This time around?
I'm chairman of the Public Works Committee. Basically, the departments that answer to us are codes and solid waste, and of course, both of those are big things in this county. The way we're growing, I mean, the codes department and planning, that's a big thing here. You know, we just passed we agreed to have the land use plan. We voted to have that as a guide and not as law, but that was worked on by several people for years, 4 or 5 years, or maybe even longer. But we just passed that to have it as a guide, and I think that's going to help. It can be changed anytime, and of course, solid waste. That's a big thing too. Trying to take care of our trash, and we've had free disposal because we're the host of Middle Point, but we've had free disposal for years. But we're narrowing it down. We're coming close to where something's going to have to happen, and trash removal from your home won't be free forever. So just want everybody to realize that. But yeah, I served for 17 years on the county commission, and served as either chair or vice chair of every committee that we have, which we have 7 committees. We have 21 commissioners. So I was there 17 years. Didn't get reelected, was gone 12, and now I've been back 4, so I've got 20, going right on 21 years now.
Some people may say that you're a glutton for punishment, Commissioner.
Well, I am, because like I said, I love to help people, and I really feel like I'm making a difference. I've always made a difference, and it's sure not because I know it all, but I listen, and I listen more than I talk. And of course, some people really can't believe that sometimes, but I was always the kid at the back of the class. I didn't want to be popular, really. I just wanted to get on through and just be me.
I'm not sure that your brother Terry that I went to school with was not the class clown.
Right, he was usually up by the blackboard with his nose in a circle, probably, where I was on the back row.
I think he was smart enough never to get a paddling by Mr. Mack, though.
Right. I never got one. I did get one from Coach Rakes, though.
Oh goodness, he could swing too, couldn't he?
Yes. When they moved, when I was in the 7th grade, they moved the 7th and 8th grade over with the high school. And that's right before Thurman Francis was built. And so my cousin and several of the older boys were out there, and we went out for archery. So they had all the bows and arrows and everything laying out on the ground. So they're egging me on this. Hey, Anthony, because I'm naive, and the young ones say, hey, Anthony, just show us how far you can shoot an arrow. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. And so I gave in, and I picked one up. And, man, I reared back and pulled it back almost to the tip, and I let it go. And it wasn't far from hitting the house way down across the lot. And as soon as I let it go, Coach Rakes was right behind me, which he wasn't out there when they egged me on. So we went to the office, but, I mean, it was my fault. So
valuable learning experience, I suspect.
Yes.
Coach Rakes, you can always tell by the number of people we have on here, Wayne, about where they were in life as far as what the title of whoever it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's amazing.
Just just a tremendous impact on all our lives. Like Mr. McPete.
Yes.
With U.S. history, and man, we just had so many just amazing educators,
Yes, we
in
did.
that building.
Yes, Mrs. O'Connor.
Ms. O'Connor,
Oh.
Miss Tyler.
Miss Tyler, yes.
So, just Toby Francis. Do you remember Toby? He wound up, I think, eventually teaching Latin at Oakland, and but Toby was quite the character as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think I'd already graduated when he came in. I think. So, yeah.
So you're up for re-election, and you're going through that process right now, and I guess there's things you'd like to share with the committee that you would like to concentrate on and do this next term, I presume.
Well, still, we're trying to move into the future with our trash removal, disposal. One of the key things we need to do, or we need to improve on drastically, is recycling. I mean, recycling is not where it should be. We're not much further along than we were 16 years ago when I went off the commission, and we were talking about what we're going to do then. So, but we've made strides. We've built a transfer station, and it's doing well. It's bringing in revenue to pretty much, as we see it, pay for itself. But we do, people say we don't want outside trash. Well, we do have some outside trash coming in, but I think a lot of that will go away whenever Middle Point closes, because we'll need the capacity there at the transfer station for ourselves. So I think that'll kind of smooth itself out, or most of it. We have waste management and then a third party that take care of our trash at the transfer station. We own it, but they do the daily operations of scooping the trash up into the compactors and getting the tube trucks full and hauling them off to I think it's Lawrenceburg. So
Lewisburg is it?
Lewisburg. Yeah, Lewisburg. So yeah, we've got to do better on recycling, and like I said earlier, it's going to cost. It's definitely going to cost. We do well right now, except for the fact that the trash is dumped there next to our water supply. As far as financially, we do well with the old contract. But when I first came back, I was asked to take the chairman of Public Works, and because I will ask questions that need to be asked. So I said, well, I'm not really fond of that idea, but I'll do it if I'm asked to do it. So they put me in as chairman. So I was also asked to go to Republic and see how we could maybe get our contract improved. And of course I was accused of being paid off by them and all that, all the rhetoric, but
got to be careful who you talk to, huh?
That's right.
You can't have a conversation without some accusation.
That's right. But I was in discussions with them and seeing where we could go with that, and of course there was a lot of rhetoric out there and a lot of mistruths, but we finally just brought it back to the table and voted to cease talks with them. But I think there was still a lot more there that we could have improved on, because we've got the contract with them basically, for the life of the landfill. So I think it would be ridiculous just to sit with an old contract that everybody's complaining about and not try to improve it. So that's where I was standing on that. And I still believe that, but I went with what the committee and the commission wanted to do. With our population, we're like, I think about 395,000 people now. So we got a lot of trash to take care of.
Yes, we do.
And then again, going along with that too is the zoning and that department over there. all of the permits that are being pulled, to build houses. We've really boomed. I mean, with that population, we still have to do something to get the roads improved and things like that. So,
I agree with you. You're listening to Anthony Johnson. He's County Commissioner for District 11, Chairman of Property Management and Public Works.
Yes.
But why don't we take our first break and we'll get right back to it in just a second. We'll be right back.
When it comes to your child's health,
You want care that's close, convenient,
and centered around the needs of your family.
At MMC Pediatrics, we're more than just doctors.
We're partners in your parenting journey.
here for every growth spurt,
for every boo-boo,
every fever, and every flu.
Our team approach means that your child always sees someone that knows them.
We are MMC Pediatrics.
We are right beside you
every step of the way.
What's the location of your emergency? I think my kid OD'd.
Hi, I'm Craig Harris. I'm County Commissioner of Rutherford County. One of the reasons I ran for office is because I wanted to bring awareness to the opioid epidemic that's impacting our county. To stop providing this epidemic with people as we educate them. We have a lot to do, and we have to come together as a community because this problem is not going away.
Insurance should be simple, not complicated. That's why at Rayburn Insurance, Agent Rick Hull cuts through the jargon and helps you understand your options clearly. He's committed to finding the right coverage that fits your unique needs and budget. Their team has been a trusted partner in the community since 1973. Ready to make insurance easy? Get with Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency. He's ready to help you get the protection you deserve.
This is Good Neighbor Events with Bart Walker. Brought to you by the law offices of John Day and AmeriCare Pest Control.
This is a paid legal ad.
You've probably heard it a million times. If you're injured, call a lawyer. And you probably haven't because you don't know how much it will cost, how long it will take, or even if you have a case. At the law offices of John Day, we provide a free initial consultation because we understand that folks don't want to pay a lawyer only to find out they don't have a case. If you think we can help, we do so on a contingency basis, which means we only get paid if you do. Seriously injured? Call me, John Day.
Now, Good Neighbor Events. Here's Bart Walker.
Maybe you're new to town and want to learn more about this community. Well, head over to the one-room Ransom Schoolhouse this Saturday morning, anytime between 9 o'clock and noon. Just drop in. Members of the Rutherford County Historical Society are sharing news about local history. Once again, that's this Saturday. Drop in anytime between 9 in the morning and noon. The one-room Ransom Schoolhouse is at 717 North Academy Street in Murfreesboro. You have another month to complete Murfreesboro Park's Coffee Marathon. You do it at your leisure. Yes, it's a regular marathon and on a set course, but you can do it daily, weekly, or whatever fits your calendar. Call Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation Department for more about the Coffee Marathon. It must be completed by May 31st. The Rutherford County Beekeepers Association meets on the first Monday night of each month at 7 o'clock over at the Lane Agri Park. That's not this week, but next week, Monday night, May 4th. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor events.
Rutherford weather.
Slight chance of thunderstorms. Today, otherwise cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun. Daytime highs approaching 83. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Vuchitsky on News Radio WGNS. Currently, it's 65 degrees.
WGNS is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. Since 1936, MTE has provided the reliable service and peace of mind we count on. Manage your account anytime at MTE.com or through the My MTE app.
This is the Roundtable from from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
And welcome back to the second segment of Tuesday Mornings with Rick and Wayne. And it's our pleasure to have great friend and community leader, Commissioner Anthony Johnson, who represents the 11th County District. And, we've been sitting here talking about county issues. Of course, I think we'll probably want to stay on some public work conversation, but I think you're also noted as pretty much an authority on Robert's rules.
Well, yes. Before I got on the commission, I was thinking about running. Well, I did run for this, town council once, but I went and got the rule book and studied it from the front to the back and back to the front, and tabbed out everything, all the key things. So I don't know it all, but I'm pretty well versed on it. But it was funny. I met with our past mayor, Burgess, on an issue right before I was put back on the commission, and he told a fellow that was with us, he said, there's one thing about Anthony Johnson, said he goes by the rules and he doesn't sway. And he says, I had to go buy me a Robert's Rules of Order book and carry it with me, because he was the first one that would, if I slipped up, he'd let me know it.
You'd call him out, huh?
You bought me one.
Yeah.
But I got voted in property management, and I wanted to be chairman of it. And the next committee meeting, he showed up and had this little paperback thing of Robert's Rules of Order. He said, if you're going to be a chairman, you need to know these.
Cool.
Sure did.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's if you don't have order, then you have chaos.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, my first night on as chairman of Public Works, we got through, and we had a little bit of a upset audience member. He wanted to speak, but he didn't sign up. And, we've got rules. You have to sign up, by a certain time, certain date, and he didn't do it. And then he was demanding he's going to speak, and he was way out of order. So finally, we got through the meeting, but he was right up in my face, and several of our actually employees. We didn't have security that night. Several of our employees actually came out of the woodwork, and these are guys they're buff. I'm a little fat old guy, but this guy was big, and he was right in my face. But they kind of stepped in, and so I felt secure, and I was thankful for them. Of course, I was thankful for them before, just doing their jobs. But
sure.
Hey, they were my bodyguards that night. But it was that happened because a chairman of another committee had allowed somebody to speak that wasn't on the agenda. No, they weren't on there. Didn't sign up, and so that happened. This guy expects that out of me, but I don't change the rules.
Well, I'm a little bit surprised. Well, maybe I'm not, but disappointed at the way the audience behaves at some of y'all's county commission meetings. There's the hooting and the hollering and the clapping, and the decorum has kind of faded away with with the partisan issues.
That's right. Yeah, it's like so many people have lost respect. I mean, they're either not taught respect, or they've lost it for some reason, and that hurts. I invite everybody up to the county commission meetings, and well, before my back surgeries, I'd go out before the meeting and actually introduce myself to everybody that I could. But of course, I've slowed down on that with my back surgeries and all. And I miss that. But yeah, there's no respect at all, just out of hardly anybody anymore. The hooting and hollering and applauding, and after they're told, don't do it, they don't care. And we're just up there trying to do a job, and we don't always get it right, but we do our best. Mm-hmm. And we listen to all of the professionals, that we pay people to know more than we do, and we listen, and hopefully we get it right. But I and most commissioners try to respect everyone, but it's hard to show respect if it's kind of earned,
Sure.
You have to earn respect, and I try to let my light shine without putting a spotlight on myself. I let my light shine through my actions and doing right. And but there again, it's hard, especially when you're trying to conduct a meeting, not just be in the audience or anything, but you're trying to conduct a meeting and serious issues, and you have all this disruption. And actually, it's sometimes you've got to have your head on a swivel too, because you never know who's around the corner.
But seeing just my short 6 months on the commission now versus when I was on 15 years ago, I don't feel like this commission's getting anything done, and I don't know how to get past that.
Right.
We just voted, as he said earlier, we voted to not adopt a comprehensive plan that they spent 5 years on and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we didn't adopt it. And it's kind of like you have a general, and the general sends his soldiers in the battle, and they're to do a job and then win that battle and report back. So we sent our soldiers and said, here, fight the battle. They completed the battle and came back, and we said, we don't support what you did. And it's the same with Washington. Ben Sass, was a senator out of Nebraska. Mm-hmm. He's got stage 4 colon cancer. He's got like 4 cancers in one in his body, and they gave him 4 weeks to live. 4 months before he basically resigned from the Senate and is living his life. He left the Senate, went to, I think he'd been the president of the University of Florida or somewhere in Florida.
Right, yeah, right.
But he did an interview on 60 Minutes. And he says, I was wasting my time up there because we can't get anything done. Everybody's yelling, everybody's screaming, nobody's getting along, and we can't get anything done. And he said, I was wasting my time. I was spending 4 and 5 days away from my family. And when I left on Monday and I came on Friday, and they said, what did you do? And he says, absolutely nothing. And I feel kind of that way that in the 5 months I've been there, because like you said, we tried to have a conversation about our dump because it's coming to an end, and what are our options that we can be able to do it. We got so much community outpouring of hate over that thing, and people get threatening and ridiculing, that it got shut down. We had a comprehensive plan. The builder community screamed and hollered, raised Cain, and it got shut down. What else are we going to be able to accomplish now? We talked about it earlier, but Scott County was going to be the big new super dump when Rutherford County closes. EPA come in and said, no, you're going to mess up the water, and you're going to mess up the wildlife, and you're going to mess up the flowers. We're not going to do it. So now it's turned down. We don't have any proposals for any more dumps, and all of our dumps are filling up. Now, I don't think we're done in Rutherford County, but what's the state going to do?
Yeah.
They're already working on the Jackson Law, Waste Management is paying a ton of lobbyists up there. I think they got a lobbyist per Senate member up there working the Jackson Law. So if the Jackson Law gets appealed, we don't have any control over that. It gets appealed, this won't go anywhere.
That's true.
And then we don't have any bargaining power. So.
Well, I'm pleased that you two are there, because both of you are fighters, and you know what the right thing to do, and I'm just proud that you're there, and as a citizen of not only the town of Smyrna but of Rutherford County. And I'm like you, been here all my life except for a little bit, born at Goodall Clinic. I want this county community to be taken care of, and I am confident that you two guys will continue to fight to make that happen.
Yeah, I respect Rick. I really do, and I voted to get him back on the commission, and have no regrets over that. Rick and I are on different sides on that comprehensive plan, though. My people are all in the city or town of Smyrna, and the comprehensive plan, the reason I voted to turn it down was because they were going to have one house per acre, instead of 2 houses per acre. That's the only thing that was holding it up. And all along, well, Rick, of course, his people are not in the town, most of them. I think you have some, but you don't have any. So all of his people are in a different section, so they've got a different opinion. So, he's got to do what his people want. I've got to do what my people want. But I haven't had one person to tell me that I made the wrong decision as far as my people.
Well, y'all can talk about it too,
yes,
without it getting,
yes.
Well, I think it got misconstrued that if it passed 1 per acre, it wasn't going to allow that to happen in the county, and it was going to push all the growth and all the building to go into the municipalities, and it wasn't going to allow it in the county. And everything comes in as a PUD, plan unit development. So you could have a 4 per acre, or you could have a 1 per acre, depending on if you brought it in there, and you can have the step system. We just reapproved yesterday morning on Central Valley and 231, 100 townhomes, 3 and 4 bedroom, all in the county. Well, that's 5.9 per acre. 5.9. Well, if we had passed that, it's still going to come in as a PUD, but they have the resources and the water to supply it, and it would pass through the system, so it wouldn't have to come into Murfreesboro or have to go into Smyrna for it. My issue and my folks is we can't build a road. The county commission right now cannot build a road. We have a road board that does not build roads. The only first road they've ever done was for you, and they did the road that goes into the new transfer station. But I can't have 500 feet of road fixed on Leanna Road from 840 to Leanna Road to put a 3-way stop sign in there, because we don't have the resources and we don't have the way to be able to do that.
Right.
That's where the comprehensive plan, I think, would help the county be able to us to plan something and have a developer or a development come to us and then work a plan out with us to be able to service that community. Right now, they can pass a PUD in tomorrow at 5.9 and do 0 road improvements. Our zoning and everything we got doesn't account for any of that, none whatsoever. Now, if you build it in Smyrna, what happens? They run traffic studies and they do all this stuff, and they make them. They got to pay an impact fee that all goes to roadway infrastructure and fire protection for that. We don't have any of that. So, with this not passing, I think the next thing is we have to totally go through our zoning ordinance, because if you're in the city of Smyrna or if you're in the county of Smyrna, our zonings are totally different. You can have a open air slaughterhouse in a half-acre lot in the middle of a subdivision in the county. Nothing you can do about it. You can have 250 chickens. There's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
None whatsoever. That's where a comprehensive plan, it gave us options of our future and how we planned our growth and where it went. And that's where I felt like that committee brought back to us. But you're right, we were on different sides of the fence, but we had 2 different ways to look. And I looked at it from the lawsuit side of it. If we adopt a plan and they want to sue us, now they can go and say, look, your county commission didn't even support this plan, and now you're trying to make us beholden to it. So that's where I came with that, and we're getting off in the weeds now. But that, and I guess my question, because I've got some phone calls about it, and I wonder what your definition is. I get it all the time. What's their county commissioner even do? They don't know.
The short answer is you control the purse strings of the county.
Yeah.
The taxes. That's the short answer.
Yeah.
Of course, it's a lot more involved, but that's basically what we do. I mean, everything we do, there's a lot involved, but it all comes back to the taxes. So
or lack of.
And in our case, it's lack of. The cities, it's not so much, because we didn't get what we needed to bring in the money on the impact fees, but the cities did, and they're loving it.
Yeah.
But on the comprehensive plan, though, you still have those options that Rick was speaking about, because we voted to use it as a guide, and what we were preached to the whole time, and maybe that's not the right word, but we were told all along by Commissioner Pettis Reed.
That's right.
He kept saying, "Hey guys, this is only a guide. it's a living, I think, document, he said, and it will move and change if you vote it in this way. Well, we basically, that's what we did. We voted to have it as a guide, and that's exactly what he kept telling us we needed, was a guide. So that's where my justification comes in. You're telling us you want a guide. You wanted to vote it in as a guide. That's what we did, just maybe not in his wording. So he's still upset, and I understand all the time that they put in, and I respect them and their views, but there again, each commissioner has a different section of the county, and that's the people they have to answer to, and I feel that I answered to my constituents.
Mm-hmm. What other committee do you serve on?
I've got Public Works and Property Management and Purchasing.
Okay.
I'm vice chair of, I was vice chair of Property Management, but not now. But still a member.
Okay. Is Property Management one of the less stressful committees? Because I've been on Public Works, certainly has to be one of the toughest.
There's no such thing as a less stressful committee.
Great answer.
The way it is today. 16 years ago, when I was on a commission, you had some that were really, none of them were that stressful back then to me, but things really changed while I was gone for 12 years, and I came back, and it's a different world, and I was living in it, but I wasn't up there having to make decisions, so it's a big difference when you're not making the decisions and just armchairing, quarterback armchairs, but different world.
I served with you that 4 years.
Yes.
2006 to 10, and we raised taxes twice in that 4-year stint. They got me beat because we raised taxes, but we touched. We had Dr. I just went blank. What's the second under? He went on to be director at school board. I went blank on his name. We had him in, but he brought in, and he had kept that. He worked under Harry, and then he became chair. Mr. Odom.
Okay.
He brought in, and we had him on here, and he brought in his thing. He pulled out his files, and he said that was, to him, some of the best times of being when he was with the school board, because we either approved, built, or remodeled 14 schools.
Yes.
And that was done to the crash of 2008, and we had raised taxes twice to be able to do it.
Right.
And he said we got so much done, and we did so much for our kids during that time. And when people ask me today, what do we do as commissioner? And I said, we're the ones that are paying to educate your kids. We're paying for the schools and where they are, and the teachers, and the pay of where those are. And I think that's the most important. 67% of our budget's all education,
right?
And everything else fills in there. But now, public safety now has taken a big jump, I've noticed, since I've been back on in this short time, because we're so underpaid, and we're a training ground for guys we spend a bunch of money for, like, let's say sheriff's detectives. We spend a bunch of money for them, and they go through the academy, and then they turn around and they go to Murfreesboro, and they make $17,000 more the day they walk in than what we got them through the training process. And and I feel like that's going to have to be adjusted and taken care of. But a penny is only worth so much. And I remember Nancy Nolan used to harp on me about that on property management. She said, well, a penny's only worth so much. So we had to move it around. But we got the BOA building this Thursday. We're going to get an update on that, the Bank of America building downtown. They've done, I guess, their full research on it now, and we'll get a report back as far as what the condition of that building is, and if we go further in the process with this or not. But we talked about it earlier, and we got sidetracked, but zoning, would that go through you as well? So if we looked at redoing zoning and things like that, would that go through your committee, and you would set up that, or who would do that?
As far as I know, it would come through our committee.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, because all the planning and zoning comes through us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get Zone 3, District 3, and I was in 12 before. It was just in the Smitty city. I get, if not one call, I get 3 calls a week now on zoning issues. And where people have been doing things that they shouldn't have been doing for a long time, and now it's gotten so bad that, we end up. But, Director Bell and I, man, we talk or email weekly, it seems like here lately, and I've keeping her quite busy because nobody knows really if we're zoned, if you're zoned in Smyrna, if you're zoned in Murfreesboro. And I know Smyrna just added another person in down at under their zoning thing, and with the judge down there, they are getting a lot of stuff done. But I mean, I've got everything, like I said, from 250 chickens running loose at night, the first cage, to they've gone in and put 1,000 loads of fill dirt and made semi-truck parking on a gravel parking lot on a road that's, you can't put 2 cars down at the same time side by side. So I feel like zoning wise, we're going to have to really make some strides differently for that. But
that's what I've said. That's what I've said all along too. We need to look at the zoning we have. We, even without the comprehensive plan, that's part of our job. That's part of planning is to decide what goes where, and you have safeguards there again. Even without the plan, I mean, we do have the plan as a guide now, but even if we didn't have the plan, you still have the safeguards there. If you don't have the water supply out there, you can turn it down, any application to build. If you don't have, say the roads are too dangerous, to put 100 houses out here in wherever, they can still turn it down for that. I mean, that's what they tell us all the time, but yet we've got to have a comprehensive plan to tell us. So, I mean, it's it's not kind of, it's very complicated.
It sure is. Yeah. What's some other things, like your district, what's some other things that you constantly hear about, or from? I know there was one guy that reached out to me, and I can't remember his name, but you ended up talking with him. And
so the one about the mattresses.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. It's really, Mike Sparks calls them God winks, but Rick had called me and he said, have you heard of this guy? He's having a problem. Will you call him? And I said, yeah, he's in my district. He was saying he was in my district. And so I called him and had a good conversation with him and tried to help and explain to him what was going on, that we had drivers out and trying to get the mattresses from the recycling convenience centers, trying to get them moved out, so they were full.
It was right against a holiday, like right after a holiday.
Yeah, and it was real busy. But I think we had 3 truck drivers out at that time, that's bad. But our director, Matt, he was actually driving a truck for several days. I think last night he told me last week he drove. Somebody, and this guy walks in. I introduced myself to him. He says, yeah, I just talked to you about an hour ago. I mean, yeah, Mike's right. That looked like a God wink there. But we're still having a little bit of a problem with that. We still have too many drivers out.
But that kind of reminds me of what we went through with COVID. I mean, we would have people that would be out for weeks because they were quarantined.
Yeah.
So and of course, the convenience centers became really inconvenient for a period of time there. So, but I am proud of the one off weekly that that was improved. So
yes,
I'm happy that has worked out as well as it has.
I am too. That's our best one as far as I'm concerned. As far as it's not necessarily laid out like it should be. We balls kind of dropped there, but it's a great center. It's our second most used. Sand Hill in Laverne is our most used, and we're looking for a site now in Laverne so we can move that one to get people in and out quicker.
I don't know how you get in and out of Sand Hill.
It's bad.
Weekly was tough when it was over there, just where your ingress or egress or however you say that was there on weekly, especially during the holidays. But Sand Hill's like that all the time.
It is, yeah. But we've located several pieces of property, not several, but a few. There's not much property down there that.
Rick can tell you about that conversation, can't you, Rick?
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, but we looked at what was left of the backside of a school site down there, and of course we got. I started to say dumped on by some people, but we had some angry people, but they were misleading everybody. We've got one right now campaigning saying that she stopped the dump on the school property, and that's totally ridiculous. It wasn't a dump to start with. It was a convenience center, and you can call it what you want to, but it wasn't going to be a bad thing. I mean, it's a 30-foot drop from the road up that went by the school down to where we were going to build. But it turned out we couldn't use the property anyway, so it was a lot of Facebook ridicule and whatever, just negative that shouldn't have been.
You want to if you want to get beat up publicly, just be an elected official.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I mean, the same one he's talking about is, one of the uproars that, that are in the campaign race they're running right now. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
What's being said, they're putting out there is kind of crazy.
Brad Turner ran for my seat. It was the 10th district then. Of course, it's been changed over the years, and now it's the 11th district. But Brad Turner, one of my neighbors, went on to be on the governor's staff actually. But he won the election, and I said on my farewell speech or whatever you want to call it, I said, Brad, I'm praying for you and your family. I've made 6 new friends. You didn't beat me. You won the election because it wasn't a personal thing, and we've backed each other and applauded each other ever since, and that's just the way I am. And it's the way everybody should be. As far as elections, it shouldn't be personal. And for one thing, you definitely don't touch somebody else's signs. Now, I have recently, but I'll tell you, if you see me moving somebody's sign, I'm not moving it. I'm picking it up off the ground and putting it back in the ground.
The wind has blown it down.
And I try to find the exact spot, the holes. I mean, because I know how bad it is when you go and somebody's moved your signs and put theirs there or thrown your signs away or whatever. Years ago I was campaigning, and on a Sunday afternoon I told my wife, I said, I'm going to go down in the street and I'm going to put up 3 signs and come back. This was late and after church and everything. So I went down there, and what happens? A guy comes and he wants a ride. I say, hey, this is my campaign headquarters. I don't have an inch of this truck that you could sit in, so I'm sorry I can't give you a ride. Well, I turned around, started to drive a post, and I mean, it was one movement. I took the post driver out of my truck and up on top of the post, and I hear the screeching of tires. The guy stole my truck. He stole my campaign headquarters. I mean, I had everything in there.
Oh, goodness.
He went and dumped it all somewhere down in Antioch.
When was this?
This was in, what was it? I can't remember what election, but it turned out my opponent, there again, another God wink. This kid had spent the night with my opponent the night before.
Oh my goodness!
And I really don't.
I did not know this. This is awesome.
How did I not know that? I can't believe I didn't know.
Let's see, who was it? I'm trying to remember. That's about the time that you first started on the
2006
Smyrna Police Department.
Oh God, that's 1994. 93, 92, yeah.
Because I met the detectives. Well, I can't remember the name.
But I guess you don't leave your keys in your truck anymore, do you?
Well, I had it running because it's one of those days where if you get in it, it fogs up immediately.
Right.
So it was one of those days you know, I had it running, and it's up on the sidewalk. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but but it was strange. But yeah, they caught this dude down in Antioch, and another God wink. About 6 months later, this lady calls me. She says, "Will you marry me?" I said, "Well, honey, I'm already married." You know, she said, "No, will you do my ceremony?" I said, "Well, yeah." I said, so I found out, you know, the ins and outs of it, and also I go over on a I think it was a Saturday afternoon, and I married him, and it was really nice. But when she said her name, I thought, "Boy, that rings a bell," because that's the same name of the guy that stole my truck. So this is 6 months after that. So, you know, I don't charge anything to do a ceremony or anything, and I've had some that it really cost me quite a bit because I had to buy special clothes for it. But, you know, that's part of it. You know, I enjoy helping people. But anyway, did this wedding. Everything was great. So the groom came over, and he said, "Here, this is for your troubles." I said, "Well, no, just keep it and use it, you know." He says, "No, I want you to have it." So, okay, he paid me. Well, I started to back out later in the evening. I started to back out of the driveway. The father-in-law comes up, and he says, "Here, I want you to have this." I said, "No, your son-in-law already paid me." He said, "Yeah, but didn't this certain," he called him by name, he said, "Didn't he steal your truck about 6 months ago?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "And you still did their wedding?" I said, "Well, they didn't steal my truck." So yeah, no, that's 2 God winks I had there, I guess.
How cool.
That's amazing.
What a great story. Thank you. I had not heard that, Commissioner.
That's going to have to go in my book, man. That's a good one.
I've been trying to get him to do a book for the last few years.
Yeah.
So, you know, Brother Rick and Commissioner, I think this is our 4-year anniversary show.
Probably so. Yes, sir.
Oh, happy anniversary.
Yep. Thank you. You know, we'll just 4 years.
We're out of diapers finally, buddy. I have an accident every time at night, but we're good.
But thank you for being with us.
Yes, sir.
You know, just have immense respect for you. Of course, I like your little brother as well as a classmate. So, but thank you for serving. Just
yes, sir.
Getting to be with Rick and you know, and getting to hang with you this morning is quite the privilege for me, so thank you.
Well, that's a privilege for me also.
Yeah, you made me forget. That was the other thing I said we do as county commissioner. We can do weddings, and
well, and I think I still can too. I think once you're what
you do, you can do forever.
Yeah. I think
I've done a couple since I was off, and of course I'm back on now. But yeah, I had the girls. I worked at the police department. This is back then in the early '90s. And they would issue tags, but they had to mail in. They would basically keep like a log, and they would mail that in the state. Then it took the state 2-3 weeks before it got put into the computer. So if I run a tag on a car, let's say we had something happen, and then it can come on file, but it looked like that car was pretty new, or, you know, back then you about knew every car that was running around Smyrna. There was less than 8,000 people. You figure how big we are now, 50,000 people in Smyrna, and there was less than 8,000 in 1992. But I would run out to the clerk's office and over there on Lowry Street and say, "Hey, you know, we just had this happen, and it looked like it was a car I ain't kind of seen around here before." And we had 8. Our number was 8 on the front of our tag. You know, it was 8 dash, and that was how you ranked in the state as far as county size. And they'd sit in there and go through their logs, so I got to know them all pretty well. Well, then I got on the county commission, and somebody would come in and get a marriage license, and they said they'd want to get married here. They call, and they said, "Well, call this guy. He's a real nice guy. He just lives around here, around the corner." And they had a sheet in there that had all of our commission names and our addresses. And I'd have people come up on my front porch and knock on my door and say, "Hey, you marry us?" So you can call me. Well, you were not far from the clerk's office, so we just thought we'd come on over. So I had plum tree in the front yard, and I don't know how many marriages I did right there at a plum tree in my front yard. But I wonder if they all still made it. But that's always things you worry about.
You hope, but I think what is it? The ratio is 50% for
divorces.
Divorces.
Yeah. If they're even getting married these days.
Well, yeah, may even be higher now. Who knows? Yeah. But God bless you, Commissioner.
Thank
Just again, long-time Smyrna resident and long-time community leader.
Well, thank you. It's my privilege to serve, and I'm humbled, to if I'm reelected, and I always say
Talk about your campaign a little bit. Tell us about it. And I know we're still in early voting now. We got a couple more days of that, and then actually today may be the last day, right?
Yeah, we really need people to come out and vote. Like
30th.
Right now I don't have an opponent. Now in the general, I'll have an opponent. There'll be a Democrat that's running against me, and that's Wayne Sharp. I don't know him, but that's who's running. And like I say, as far as I'm concerned, we're not running against each other. We're running for the same seat. We may have the same ideas, we may have different ideas, but I'll respect him, and even if I know something bad about somebody, I won't tell it. Not to be elected. That's just not me.
Well, you're old school.
Yeah, I was brought up right. Maybe sometimes I didn't think it at the time, but now I know. Yeah, you were telling me right.
Well, your daddy would sit up here in front of the press box, leaning up against it at football games. So, it didn't matter how bad the season was or how good the season was. He was still there.
Have you been sitting at the polls any?
No, I haven't. I go and check the signs, make sure they're still up and all, but no, I haven't. I've only seen one person out down at the town hall that actually was holding somebody's sign, and had a good conversation with him. But the turnout is so low, and I'm just talking to everyone out there that's listening, and tell your friends too. You got to get out and vote, because you can have, like right now, you won't be going necessarily to vote for me, because this time I'm already in. But in August, I do have an opponent. But this election going on right now, some may be knocked out right now because you didn't go vote.
Well, you're going to decide who your mayor is.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
There's nobody running.
Yeah.
So,
and even, you could win. A person could win or lose by one vote, and I'd sure hate for that to think that was my vote that I threw away because I didn't have the time or didn't take the time to go and vote.
Well, because I lost by 12 votes, and there's been people who lost by 8 votes. I think another one I know of, he lost by 11 votes. Mm-hmm. So there's 5,500 people that has only voted in early voting so far. We're pushing 400,000 people.
But I think we actually had one commissioner that was one vote.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Truman Jones got voted out, and we got Robert Arnold as sheriff, and
Chanto won by one vote a couple of years, about 4 or 5 years, or 4 to 6 years ago, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gosh, that would after campaigning all during June and July, and then
he was down by 6, and then won by 1 when the last precinct came in. Because I was doing election coverage, I remember it.
That'd break my heart.
It would me too.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yeah, thank you, Anthony. You're a good friend of mine, and I sure hope you stay in there with me. I need you.
Thank you.
All right. Everybody, hope you enjoyed our show. Please get out and vote. We've got through the 30th, the early voting. There's 9 centers throughout Rutherford County. If you go to Go Vote TN, just Google it, Go Vote TN. That'll tell you who's all running in your district. You can actually even see a sample ballot. You either have to vote claim Democrat or Republican in this primary right now. But if you do a Republican, you'll be able to vote for our next mayor, who that might be, and pretty much our sheriff too, because I think we might have one person that might be in a Democrat, but I don't think he's raised any money right now. So, but you're talking about a big constitutional offices, and you're pretty much 5,500 people right now are going to decide that. Mm-hmm. But have a great week, and we'll be back next week as usual.
Thank you.
898-7710. First Shot transforms Rutherford County youth. Coach Andy Herzer leads dynamic basketball camps and clinics, building skills and character since 2003. Kids dive into exciting STEM projects, sparking creativity through hands-on coding, art, and dance. They elevate their mind, spirit, and body in summer and winter programs. Visit FirstShotTN.org today to learn more. First Shot, where kids gain, elevate, and develop.
Premier 6 Theater on Broad in Jackson Heights.
Let's all go to the movies.
Check out what's showing at murfreesboromovies.com. Popcorn popped fresh daily.
Movies at the good old Premier
Premier 6 on Broad in Jackson Heights.
Hey folks, it's Chip Walters from Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates, helping Middle Tennessee make smart moves in a fast-moving market. Whether you're buying, selling, or just exploring your options, you deserve someone who knows this community and treats your goals like their own. From first-timers to long-time homeowners, I'm here to guide you with clarity, confidence, and a steady hand. When you're ready to make the next move, start with someone you trust. Visit ChooseChip.net and let's make your 2026 move the right move.
Why is John Harney endorsing Clarissa Smith for School Board Zone 4?
I think Clarissa would bring a unique perspective to the school board in that she has been a school bus